kind of, in a way, learn on your own, and then you go to class to like fine tune everything. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Zakira and this is Simply by Nate. Alright, so today I'm going to be just sharing with you guys how my first semester of law school went. I just recently finished my last final this past Friday. So I think I'm posting this Thursday. So yeah, this past Friday is when I finished my last final. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about what the semester was like for me, some ups and some downs, and some insights on that. Also how finals went, and then at the end, I'm going to be going over what I'm doing right now that my first semester is over. So if you're interested, make sure you stay tuned. Going into law school, I definitely had that mindset of this is going to be a lot of work, this is going to be a lot of reading, I'm not going to have a lot of free time and a lot of freedom to do the things that I want to do. And I would say that that's true for the most part. However, I will say that there is still time, or at least I felt that there was still time to like live your life. It's not like an overwhelming amount of time that's being taken, but you know, your time will be taken. I honestly will say, like, if you just manage your time wisely, and I will have like some time management videos up for you guys, just like advice, tips and tricks and things like that for managing your time wisely. But it's definitely like doable. I will say it does take a lot of your time, but it's doable. You can still do not everything, but you can still do some things that are important to you that aren't necessarily completely school related. But like, in my opinion, like, I've never ever spent so much time studying and reading and things like that until I got to law school. So just keep that in mind looking forward. But that's something that like didn't really change. That's like something I expected it. So with everything that's been happening in 2020, classes were a little bit different. So my school, we still did do in-person classes, and with that, there were some periods of time when I was online. So I did not get sick or anything, but I was around someone who did get sick, so I had to quarantine for like 2 weeks. So what I ended up doing is I had to be online, and we used Teams at my school. So that was for 2 weeks, and I want to say that was week 3 and week 4 of school. So it was the beginning, like literally right before midterms. Like, I think, yeah, it was those 2 weeks quarantine, and then there was a week gap, and then at the end of that week it was midterm. Looking back, like, did I prefer online versus in person? I feel like I could see the pros and cons of both. Obviously, if everyone's in person, it's easier to be in person, because it was sometimes hard and difficult to hear the dialogue between students, especially if they were sitting in the back of the classroom, or if they were just, you know, a little more quiet. Sometimes the mic wouldn't pick everyone's voices up, so it was hard to get that in classroom dialogue. And then, so that was like a con. I feel like if we were all online for the last 2 days of the semester, and I would say with that, it was a different classroom experience in comparison to the in-person, just because, you know, some people would usually just like speak out in class or like raise their hand, and I feel like participation did go down a little bit when we were online. But I mean, the professor is gonna instruct how they instruct, so there's that. So yeah, I think there's pros and cons to both. Obviously online is way more convenient if you're someone who needs to travel. Because we were in person, I can't really say that online hindered me or not. When I got my midterm grades back, honestly, well, aside from the grades, like being prepared for the midterms period, I felt like I was prepared. My professors were very available to any questions that I might have had when I was in quarantine and even after quarantine. If I needed to ask them any questions for any clarification, they were available. So I really didn't have any issues or problems. The biggest thing that I've learned about law school, though, is you kind of, in a way, learn on your own, and then you go to class to like fine tune everything. So what I learned and what kind of worked for me, and I think why I didn't struggle as much when I was in quarantine and I wasn't in person, was when I read, my goal is to understand completely and fully when I read. Like, I don't just read the case, just finish it and get it briefed. Like, I read it to understand it, to understand the role the first time. And sometimes it's not possible because sometimes you just don't have all the knowledge and tools necessary, especially in the beginning when you're first starting out. But as you know, start to dive deeper and you start to learn more, it'll come a little bit faster to you. Like, overall, law school, I would say, is what I expected. I would say, kind of going back to the online versus in person, like, having in person but socially distanced was a little weird because I am a germaphobe by nature. So, like,
honestly, if we all could be like wearing masks, so I don't catch people's sneeze particles, and I'm pretty sure that's not a real thing. Well, like, it is, but like, I could have said that a little bit. But I don't know, like, I'm a germaphobe, so like, if everyone wore a mask, if everyone was overly conscious, making sure they covered their mouths and like did like wash their hands, use hand sanitizer before they ate every time, you know, all those different things, and precautions, like, that would be good for me all the time. Minus the social distancing, because you know that stuff, you can't interact with people, but like the germ conscious stuff, I can stand behind that, you know, just because I'm just like a germaphobe type person anyway.
And I feel like because I was like that, in the beginning, like, I really didn't like I socialized but at a distance. Like, I did hang out with some people, but I tried to keep the group small, and I also tried to limit my time being around people without my mask on. So yeah, that was me. Finals were good, finals went well. I didn't have any problems or complications with the software. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just have never been concerned about online exams because throughout school I've taken online exams, and in undergrad I did have some exams that were online and we could take them either in class or remotely. So for law school exams, I don't know, I guess, like, for some people there might be like just test anxiety, so they do think a little bit differently about it. I didn't think any differently about it. I treated it as any other test, you know, made sure my testing environment was clear and all of that stuff. Yeah, like, I don't know, I just really didn't have any concerns. My internet connection was good, didn't have any malfunctions, so that went well. You really shouldn't have any problems with exams online, I think, from here on out, really, because of how, you know, technologically advanced we are. I think the only problem that people may come up with is like internet connectivity, but I didn't have any of those problems. I did, however, get kind of sick, like, not sick, but like, just was feeling a little under the weather after my second to last exam. So that kind of sucked, but I did fine for my last exam. And was able to push through with that, and that was my shorter exam, so that was kind of nice. That I started feeling better. Like, I started feeling bad towards the end as opposed to the beginning. So yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. It is December 22nd, so basically what I'm doing right now is just applying for internships and summer programs and fellowships and things of that nature. So just a little insight for anyone who is thinking about law school or just internships in general. When you're applying to internships, even in undergrad, like, my advice for people is to start looking as early as October, November, and start applying as early as December. Now, some opportunities you need to apply before December. Usually that's for undergrad. So far, for law school stuff, the earliest that I have seen is like January 6th. I think that's the earliest date that I have for the programs that I'm looking into. I think I have seen one that's December, but I think that's for like a 2L something, and I really don't know what that is. But for most of the ones that I've looked at, it's January, like the first week of January. And my advice is to apply as early as possible. Right now, my resume is done. My resume's kind of always been done, but I can actually make a whole different video on like resume tips, cover letter tips, and things like that. Probably more so based on undergrad. We have an intensive in January, so our winter break is going to be cut a little bit short, and this is only for the 1Ls. Typically, what I would do in this situation is I probably would have you know, tried visiting law firms or like go to court, but you know, because of circumstances, that's going to be a little difficult. However, you know, still keeping in contact with people just in general, because you know, you never know when a court near you is open, especially in like the smaller towns. They may or may not be open. Not really sure about cities, but if you're watching this in a time where like we're not socially distancing anymore, those are some things you may want to consider. In terms of working, I am currently not employed anywhere. However, I do DoorDash and I do Instacart, and that's pretty much what I did over the summer as well, just to make like a little extra cash here and there. And the area that I'm in, it actually is pretty booming. Like right now as we speak, I looked this morning and they were like pretty good, you know, deals for Instacart. Didn't really look on DoorDash because DoorDash operates a little bit differently. But that's pretty much what I'm doing. Mainly because I really want to focus on getting my summer internship applications out the door, because even for the ones that are due like later in the semester, like either later January or like early February or something like that, which very few are due then, just an FYI. I just want to make sure I have it all done before my intensive starts. So that's like my main focus. And of course, you know, working. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I will have a couple more videos for you guys to end off this year, but I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who's been with me on this journey, and I love you guys so much. I hope for any of you guys who were in school this semester went really well for you guys as well. And if you weren't in school, I hope that this year, like this season, just went really well for you. I know a lot has been happening, a lot has been going on, but you know, we're almost there. We're almost to the end, and we're still here. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.